One of the things I always loved about working at Stripe, and I think one of the things that has set it apart and is reflective of both its scale and sort of significance as a company, and in some ways its kind of value and the maturity that's sort of reflective of that, has been the founders. Jon and Patrick are really extraordinary founders in a lot of ways, but one of the ways is this sense that they were building from day one a long-term sustainable business, right? This was not a business we were trying to just grow, right? It was a business that we expected to be working on, and certainly they expected to be working on for decades. And that kind of long-term and sustainable mindset really informed everything we did. And one example of that I was sort of responsible for driving was on the regulatory side, right? Stripe is in a heavily regulated business. It moves massive amounts of other people's money around the world. More or less the most heavily regulated business category that we have. And even before we were regulated, very early in the life of that business, one of the things that I did, we were a 2-year-old company in the United States, which was our principal market at the time. We knew we would eventually need a certain kind of license, what's called the money transmission license. And so we went to regulators. They have a conference, the Money Transmission Regulators Association. They have a conference every year. And we went to their conference, and we booked a little hospitality suite, and we said, we're from this little company, Stripe. We invited them all to come in little blogs. We're from this company, and here's what we do. Here's how we do it. Here's who we are. And as we grow, you may hear more about us. Here's how to get in touch with us, right? And that sense of engagement with and respect for regulators and their role, which you'll remember, sort of this is back in 2014 when the biggest show in town was Uber, which was a very different view of regulators, right? It was sort of move fast, establish presence on the ground, and they're different businesses, so I don't want to overdraw the parallels, but I think that kind of engaged and sustainable and long-term model was one that we saw work well from a business perspective, but also I think just fundamentally worked better from a kind of societal perspective. We were able to do things that were reflective of the intention of regulators in ways that it would have been very hard if we had sort of, kind of hid and made them kind of run to catch up to us.